Alright everybody, it has been a hot minute since I have played No Man's Sky. The last time I played was the Aquarius expedition, which was 2024, September of 2024. I went and looked it up earlier. Voyagers just dropped. Now the expedition hasn't started yet. But Voyagers is now live. You can now assemble a completely custom starship piece by piece from a catalog of hundreds of possible modules in a variety of sci-fi aesthetics. You have full creative choice over your Corvette's configuration and furnishings. Select and arrange every section of hull, every wing and peripheral, every internal corridor and bunk bed. All sorts of fun stuff. Now, the expedition is not live yet, so I would anticipate that I will get to play the expedition later. I don't know when it's going live, but I will have time for it probably later September. But I haven't played in so long. I wanted to do a fresh start character today. And then when I get refamiliarized with the controls, I have a variety of save files I could pick up from. I have my original campaign, which I have 85 hours in. And then I have 3 different expedition characters. The most recent would probably be this one, I would assume. I would have to look. One of these is going to be the Aquarius character. And that's probably the one that I'll go play. If not the main one, to check out the shipbuilding and everything else. But before I get into the shipbuilding, I have to remember how to play the game. So I wanted to start a new character from scratch so that we could just check everything out. Yeah, that's what I anticipated, Programmist. I won't be able to dive into it until later on in the month, though, because I have too much going on. So, if you are watching this morning, everybody, Twitch drops are on. There are some really cool rewards. I will have to go find somebody to watch because there is a Tier S ship and a Tier S tool, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go find the viewer rewards really quick. Because I was looking at them earlier, and I was like, ooh, I'm going to have to go find somebody to watch myself. A-class multi-tool and an A-class fighter. Is it the same for day 2 rewards? Let me go look. No, day 2 is different. Day 2... They have different things for day 2. So I'll have to go find somebody to watch today. And the next few days. Because there's some really cool ship rewards for watching the 3-hour mark. And I'm going to want all those ships, so I'll have to figure that out. So if you're watching on YouTube right now, double tap if you can, watch in both places, but don't forget, Twitch drops are live, so you can watch over there. Yeah, it's interesting. I've never seen a campaign do it that way, where it changes every single day. Let's do normal. Feel free to drop those in Discord, Lady Atara, in the gaming section, and then as I finish up, we can take a look at who of those people are live, and we'll send a raid over there, and then I'll go watch. I did love the Aquarius expedition. That was a lot of fun. But that was last September, so it's been a year since I've played. So, thus the fresh start character, so that I can figure out what the hell I got to do again and all the controls. And it'll be a good chance for people who are new to see all of the changes that have happened, because this will be the first character I've started from scratch with the Worlds Part 1 and Worlds Part 2 updates in place.
Shield kinetic system online.
I love that we got stuck on a snowy planet to start. That's like one of my favorite biomes ever.
Online. Multi-tool and mining laser attachment operational. User initialization sequence complete.
There we go, kids. Okay, first thing I want to do is I gotta remember how to go into first person view. Thank you very much. Environmental status hostile. Hazard protection is failing. Scan to locate survival resources. Hit RS to find sodium. Scanner is critically damaged. I need ferrite dust. Gather ferrite dust for repairs. Use RT to fire the multi-tool's mining beam. Shoot small rocks is what it's telling me to do. So I see some rocks right here. I've gathered some ferrite dust. I need more. We're just going to follow the instructions as if we have never played the game before. This would be a great tutorial for new players. We had some people asking on Instagram last night, hey, what is the game like for new players? Well, this is going to show you what the game is like for new players. Alright, we have gathered enough ferrite dust to repair our scanner. Use that to access the multi-tool inventory, repair equipment with the A button.
Component repaired. Technology repaired.
Okay. Now we need to scan to locate sodium. Collect sodium from small yellow plants, which will allow you to recharge your thermal protection. I don't know which one of these might be the closest. Recommendation. Alright, recharge hazard protection. So we're going to go back into the menu. Well, I guess we can do it real quick.
Technology recharge.
Yeah, but we do need some more.
Starship signal detected.
Exosuit initialization in process. Investigate your surroundings. Alright, we're supposed to reach that signal, but I also need some more, on our way there, we'll grab some more of these plants. Ooh. I don't think anything will attack us right at the gate. We should be okay. we're going to go ahead and
Technology recharge.
continue real quick. But one more plant over in this direction, it looks like, to keep boosting our thermal protection, and then we're going to make our way over to the ship remains. It also tells us that we could use our jetpack. I know a lot of people like to play in third person. I prefer first person.
Thermal protection falling.
Alright, that should be enough for us to continue on to the ship now. If you're experiencing black screen on the Xbox, check your HDR settings. That can sometimes have something to do with it. Oxygen since it's here. Okay, this is the remains we've been told to seek out. Traveler anomaly detected. Alright, we've done that. Now it wants us to investigate the crashed ship. It tells us to board a crashed ship. Says it's online. Thrusters are offline. Pulse engine offline. I find myself alone on a strange world, unequipped and in danger. I have no memory of how I got here, no sense of a before. But the ship at least seems to recognize me. The controls react to my touch, or at least that of my exosuit. I'm not dead yet, and this ship is a lifeline out to the stars. The log is unavailable. Pilot should perform maintenance. Select desired repair path. Self-guided repair protocols initiated. A whole bunch of stuff is critically damaged, unfortunately. Unfortunately. This is a great point to say good morning to everybody. Catch up on chat. What's up, United? What's up, House of Herbis? What's up, Joe Kleiss? What's up, Mike Lusso? Lady Tara is going to share some links here in a bit. Programmer says probably take a few hours to get to the part where you can build ships. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of anticipating, is that I'm going to refamiliarize myself with the controls while playing this fresh start character. This is also a great chance for new viewers who have never seen No Man's Sky before, get a chance to see what the new player experience is like during the first few hours of gameplay. And then, after I'm familiar with the controls again, we're going to hop over onto one of my main characters and check out the shipbuilding. Alright, we have a whole bunch of stuff that we need to repair. Okay, we need metal plating. And in order to do that, though, we need more ferrite dust.
Protection falling.
I must stick close by the ship because that'll allow me to get some free protection. Let's get back to my ship. Craft metal plating. Use this to access your inventory. Okay, some tritium, which we'll use for later. Okay, I need to make some metal plating. So we're going to go here to craft a product. We're going to craft a metal plating. I think I only need one. I also need a hermetic seal, it says. Gotta patch it.
Component repaired.
Okay, next up. Board the starship and consult the diagnostics. Functional. Vital ingredients missing. Unable to synthesize required components. Pulse engines require hermetic seal. There is a hermetic seal nearby from a distressed beacon cache. So we need to go search the crash site. I peer inside the beacon's housing, as well as a distress broadcast unit. It contains a planetary chart. I can now look at the data from that planetary chart, and I can plot a route to create an exosuit navigation marker.
Navigational data received.
Alright, that wants me to go up in that direction to find
Thermal protection falling.
the item that I need. Okay. Nothing to it. Time to hoof it. And of course, harvesting is along the way. jetpack boost.
Weather warning. Incoming storm.
I'm gonna go back to my ship if we got a storm coming in. Storms are bad if you're a new player. Storms are bad. If you get a storm warning, oh, we're not gonna make it. Get in the ship. Storms are bad. Storms will deteriorate your protection quickly, and you don't want to get caught out in a storm when you're a brand new player. So, when in doubt, get back to your ship as quickly as possible, so that you don't, in this case, get frozen. Depends on the type of planet you're on. If you got started on a normal planet, you might not have storms, but I got started on an ice planet, so we definitely have blizzards. If you're on a sun planet, you might get solar flares, solar storms, lightning storms, poison rain. If you don't have a base built yet or a really cool exosuit, you're a new player, you need to just hunker down and wait for the storm to pass. Listen to that wind. You'll see it's going to frost up on the shield. And if you're going to watch that meter, it's going to fall really, really quickly because we're out in the elements. So yeah, it's completely random where it starts you, Max, for real. So you might get stuck. Like, if you're lucky, you'll get put on like a paradise planet, and then you don't have to worry about these nasty storms. But I think it's really cool that I got started on an ice planet, because this is my favorite type of biome. But it is a little deadly when you're getting going as a new player. Now, of course, you could be playing in creative mode and you'll be fine, but I'm playing on normal mode. Alright, thanks, Atara. Oh, you know what? It's probably because I had links in it. I didn't even think about that. And so my Discord server was like, no! You're not allowed to post links. Alright, so you notice the temperature is going back down to normal ranges and the visor is cleared. So the storm has passed. We can go ahead and go out and get back to our search. Just a nice tip for new players. Man, the base movement is so slow. I miss all my boosts. My extended jetpacks and everything. No, the first storms, all the storms end. They're random. There's a ship, a couple of ships. Ignore the deadly plant. No, yeah, the starting tutorial is awesome these days. That's why I wanted to show off the new player experience, to refamiliarize myself with the controls, because when I put the YouTube short out, I share those out to Instagram and TikTok as well, and I had a couple questions on Instagram and TikTok about, hey, what's the new user experience like these days? Is it is it easy to get into? And I was like, you know what? I don't remember how to play because it's been a year since I've played. So let's do a new start character and showcase the new player experience, while also relearning how to play because it's been a hot minute. I think we have to go over that mountain. And I know the OG veterans are having a meltdown right now that I'm not like, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this first? It's like, because we're not playing like a veteran player right now. We're playing as if we're a new player who's never played before. So the game has told us so far to keep an eye out for harvestable plants as we go, which is what we're doing. And to work our way towards a waypoint, which is what we're doing. Oh yeah, I need a few hour refresher for sure. And these patches, by the way, when you find these patches, this is like a gold mine. And a quick tip if you're new, you could just keep the X button held down while you move your character around, and it will automatically just keep looting all the things that are within reach of your character. You don't have to individually press X every time you see a new thing to harvest. So, like that. Go ahead and re-up our shields.
Technology recharge.
Also, we can do our life support with oxygen.
Technology recharge. Technology recharge.
Like so. Oh, I will start a brand new character. Every time, I always start from scratch with the expeditions. Love it. Always start scratch from the expeditions.
Ground protection falling.
Here's what we're looking for. I don't play with survival. There's too much going on. Like, there's already enough survival going on with needing to keep your shields going, watch out for storms. Like, adding the survival layer, I don't recommend that for new players at all. Normal mode is plenty challenging. Hollow Archive. This is what we're looking for. Repair the damaged component to open. We need Fiscium. I have some. That opened up the panel, which allowed us to access an archive. Leaving behind something the fabricator might be of some use. Visor damaged, can't find the ship. Alright, we're going to recover the supplies that we've been sent to find. The log finishes and the machine works till I've spitting out supplies. I now have the hermetic seal I need to repair my ship. Now let's peek our head in here because there might be some supplies. No, there's nothing in there. Here's the door. Oh, there's definitely something here. Research a specimen. Take that. Check the other building here since we're here. There's a hollow archive. Alright, I got another hermetic seal out of that, which is very nice. Alright, it says use the analysis visor, LT, to locate our starships. We're going to hit LT. However, in order to use my analysis visor, I have to first create a carbon nanotube. I need to begin analysis visor installation. So in order to do that, it says open the inventory and install analysis visor. Select an empty multi-tool slot with A to install. So we're going to open this up. We're going to go here. We're going to click this. We're going to click this. Now, I need a carbon nanotube, which I don't have. I need to gather carbon. So now I need to extract carbon by shooting plants and trees. So we need to scan again. Lucky for me, I think there's some plants right here. Nope, those do not count. There are some trees right here. That gave me plenty of carbon. So now I need to craft carbon nanotubes. Access my inventory. Go to here to modify or craft an item. We're going to craft a carbon nanotube. We're then going to go back up to our... Where's it at? Okay, finalize installation. Carbon nanotube. We've installed it. Is the story better or more involved? I always fizzle out when I find a nice looking planet and settle down. I think we just crashed. Nope, it just was being laggy for some reason. Alright. I now have an analysis visor. Press X to read more. We need to test it. The analysis visor highlights points of interest as well as analyzes flora, fauna, or minerals to earn units, which is something that's interesting for later. Let me go inside this building real quick because I want to answer Chaos Meister's comment really quick while not getting frozen to death. By the way, these act as shelters as well as your ships, so if you're caught out in the elements, find a shelter. Is the story better or more involved? So, the original playthrough that I have, which is about 85 hours, which is what I played in 2020... Jesus, when was that? I think it was 2024. Like July or August of 2024. There was like 80 hours of storyline with that character. Like, it was pure storyline. There is around 100 hours there's a lot of stuff that I didn't do because I had to move on to other games. But there is absolutely a narrative. So that first character that I played, I just did storyline. That's all I did for 85 hours of gameplay. There's a whole live stream series when I was first trying out No Man's Sky for the first time. And it was all just storyline. So there is absolutely a driving narrative behind everything. Matter of fact, I don't know if it's in our log right now, but like, yeah, so it's broken down into primary missions versus secondary missions. The primary missions are going to be like your main storyline, and then secondary missions are all sorts of little things that you're going to find along the way. So the autophage was the one I didn't do, Lady Atari, which is why I'm saying I stopped at around 85 hours because I had to go. I'm a variety streamer, so I have other things I have to do. So I didn't keep playing. I played No Man's Sky for 6 weeks or something. I didn't do the autophage stuff. And then there was a whole quest line with like building a settlement that I didn't do. So I would argue there's about 100 hours of storyline that you can pursue, but it's not done in the way. Like, I had somebody comment on a TikTok yesterday, I really wish this game was like Mass Effect storytelling. And I was like, I don't. I don't want Mass Effect storytelling in this game. I want No Man's Sky to be No Man's Sky. I want Mass Effect to be Mass Effect. I want Cyberpunk to be Cyberpunk. I want Starfield to be Starfield. Stop trying to make all games the same. This game has a really unique storytelling method. You're going to talk to NPCs. They're going to give you stories. Some of it's environmental storytelling, where you're going to click on objects like we just did. We're getting narratives. We're getting environmental storytelling right now. We're clicking on objects. We're getting broken up communications. There's no voiceovers. We're getting broken up communications that we read, and that tells us a story of someone who was here before and left parts behind. And then as we continue to go through, we're going to find out who that person was. We're going to be introduced to other characters along the way, and we're going to find out who those people are. And it's all done through environmental storytelling. And eventually you're going to get up to the space station in the anomaly, and you're going to meet NPCs who you talk to. There's definitely an overarching narrative. But if you're someone who craves the Mass Effect cyberpunk style of Bethesda style of like the NPCs are fully fleshed out, fully voiced, romance options and everything else, it's not that type of game. This is, like Lady Atara says, this is very much a found lore environmental storytelling game. So you just have to accept that, because it's not going to be that branching narrative dialogue where you're getting to choose 5 different options when you talk to an NPC. Because I've seen a lot of people like, well, I need that for me to be able to play the game. And it's like, well, then unfortunately, I think that you might want to go play a game that has that, because this game doesn't do that type of. This isn't a narrative. This is not a narrative RPG. This is a game with procedural generation. Millions of planets to explore. There's lots of base building. Now with Voyagers, we've got ship building and all sorts of other stuff. It's just environment. It's breadcrumbs. Yeah, it's breadcrumbs leading you on to the next step. By the way, that's going to be that'll be a good video to clip out for YouTube. What is No Man's Sky storytelling like? And that's at 42 minutes. Because, like the breadcrumbs we've been getting, we don't know why we're here. We woke up on a strange planet, and there's this, we've been finding these broken up communications that are telling us little bits and pieces, but that's it. Alright, test the analysis visor to highlight points of interest and analyze flora, fauna, or mineral center units. So there's our ship. Now what's really interesting is when we can go over here and scan critters. You just earned units. Units are things you'll use later. The big thing is, as a new player, once you get the analysis mode, obviously they want you to go back to your starship. That's your #1 objective. However, I can also say, this is when you're going to start scanning everything you see. If it's something that can be scanned, scan it, because you're going to get XP, or in this case, you're going to get these units. This will also tell you exactly what you're going to get from every given node, and if it has secondary things, you'll be able to harvest the secondary things from that. So always be scanning everything. If it's a plant, like that right there said unidentified plant. Where did it go? There it is. So that tells me what that plant has to offer. It gives me carbon. This is more ferrite dust. There's also going to be bonus things for once. This is later on stuff. I'm just explaining this as we go back to the ship. You'll start getting into missions where if you analyze a certain amount of things on a certain planet, you'll get bonuses. So once you get the visor, it's really worthwhile Plus, it helps you get money in the early stages because you get credits or units every time you're analyzing things. But the big thing is, we're being told to get back to the ship, so... And those red dots, by the way, those are animals, but they're animals we haven't yet identified. The green ones, once they go green, they're animals that I have. There we go. Big thing is to get back to the ship right now. I'm so happy they stuck me on an ice planet to start. That's so cool. It's like my favorite biome. Although, I will say, my second favorite is like ocean biomes now that they've added. Actually, you know, I might have to rephrase that, because now that they've added the with the Aquarius expedition and all the new underwater things we can do, that's a hard decision actually between underwater biomes and ice biomes. How about this? A snow planet that has an ocean on it. There we go. Like the perfect combination of two different things. Because the underwater biomes are really amazing looking now with the...
Thermal protection falling. Technology recharge. Technology recharge.
Alright. Yeah, it's totally random where you get stuck at the beginning.
Thermal protection falling. Units received.
Oh, that's an unidentified planet.
Units received. Units received.
I would say it is unique, Bardicus, in the sense that because of what they are building with Light No Fire, that's a pretty ingenious move on their part to have that game running on the same tech as this game. So it allows them, I don't know of any other game studio that has ever done it like this, where they are literally taking the technology they are developing for the new game and using it to enhance their old game. And the reason I think you've never seen any other company doing that is because most companies focus on, well, we're just going to build a new game, or we're going to build a sequel. It's going to use the same engine as the first game, but with improvements. So most of the time you'll see companies, you know, building things that way. But in this case, they're building a completely different game with technology that is driving the enhancements to this game, which is, again, extremely unique. There was a plant right here. Where'd it go? There it is. Yeah, exactly. We don't want our games to be the same. It's really frustrating to me when I see people who say things like, "Oh, No Man's Sky would be perfect if they would just add this element from this other game," and it's like, no, we don't want it to do that. We want No Man's Sky to be its own thing. Alright, use the inventory to repair the item. We have the hermetic seal that we picked up.
Component repaired. Technology repaired.
Alright, so the launch thrusters have been fixed. The system is highly damaged and requires dihydrogen jelly and pure ferrite to repair. In order to do that, I'm going to have to create a portable refiner to refine items down into the components that I need to fuel the ship, which is now we're getting into the crafting survival aspect of the game. Thanks for the resub over on Twitch, Chaos Meister. 11 months in a row, almost a year. I know, man. Time does fly. By the way, I didn't catch that 7 minutes ago, Chaos Meister. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, well, I think it's this is also a very important moment for me to stop really quick and address something that just popped up in chat. Because Max Real said, I love how you say that while playing the update that adds Starfield-style shipbuilding. It is similar in scope to what Starfield has, but it is not the same. It is different in a lot of distinct ways. The building portion of it might be similar, but how you get the parts is completely different to Starfield. Starfield's shipbuilding is completely unique. It has its own system. The base building in Starfield is completely different from the base building in this game. And I think it's very important because I'm a big Starfield fan. I have like 600 hours in that game. I have more hours in Starfield than I have in No Man's Sky, and I can't wait for the next DLC for Starfield. I think what the creation kit is doing for Starfield is pretty amazing. The amount of creativity that people are allowed to put into Starfield with their own mods and stuff is amazing. That game does amazing things. No Man's Sky does amazing things. Elite Dangerous does amazing things in its own way. You know, Star Citizen is doing amazing things in its own way. There's lots of room for lots of different science fiction games to do lots of different things, and all of these companies to have fun and create things that their unique audience are looking for. It's very important that we celebrate innovation across all of these companies, as opposed to try and fit all those square pegs into the same round holes. Alright, I need to find dihydrogen to create dihydrogen jelly. Like there's some right there. These crystals is what we're looking for. Exactly, Belnoth. Dude, I feel like sometimes the ARPG crowd are some of the worst. Especially when it comes from the people who are like so far down the Path of Exile path, they've forgotten that lots of other ARPGs exist and that lots of people have lots of fun in lots of different ARPGs. It gets really tiring defending like Last Epoch and Diablo 4 and the casual ARPGs, and it's like they're all fun games. Stop being a gatekeeper. Gatekeeping is the worst thing ever, and I will fight it tooth and nail. And when I see gatekeeping show up in my chat, I will always shut it down. We don't play that game here. We accept all games equally. Starfield sucks! Diablo 4 sucks! Blizzard's a shitty company! Bethesda's a shitty company! Go back to Reddit. Don't want you here. Alright, we should have enough dihydrogen jelly now. jelly, which we've just done. Correct, the hardcore players no longer play for fun. They hate anyone who plays differently. It's the same for most games. You just have to ignore those players and focus on having fun in the video game. Access the inventory and repair items. Okay. We now need to create. We need more ferrite dust. So if you remember earlier, we scanned these bigger rocks. Notice that the bigger rocks, when I mine them now, it didn't just give me ferrite dust, it also gave me sodium, because once you scan something, if it has a secondary component, like that one says, it says ferrite dust and sodium now that I've scanned it. So it's always beneficial to scan things before you harvest them so that you can get the secondary components out of them as well. Now, you're not going to get your scanner at the beginning of the game, you have to go through the steps first to get to the scanner. But it's an important point. By the way, this is a reminder, everybody, don't forget drops are on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube, I appreciate the support. Always make sure to watch the multi-streams wherever you want. But in the case of a drops campaign, I would also urge you to make sure you're watching on Twitch specifically so that you can get your drops for this game.
Technology recharge. Technology recharge.
Hang on, I'm getting confused with the button presses here. There we go. Oh, I need to get carbon.
Thermal protection falling.
It says use RB after total power loss. Interesting. I need to get some carbon apparently.
Technology recharge.
Okay, I'm gonna need to get some more of that. We're gonna focus on the carbon really quick. I need lots of stuff. Alright, we should have enough to do. Construct a portable refiner, craft a metal plating. Advanced materials require pure ferrite, which is what ferrite dust is refined into. So we need to craft a portable refiner. We need to get our build menu up. We need a metal plating and oxygen. We have both of those because I've already been farming oxygen along the way. We're going to place this down. I got button presses are different. I'm so used to Dune Awakening, and recently we've been playing so much Enshrouded. I'm like, wait, what buttons do what? There we go. Technology deployed on the planet's surface from the build menu may be recovered by approaching and holding RS. This places the technology in your inventory. Dismantling technology offers a convenient way for the user to transport and redeploy this technology at a location of their choosing. Redeploying portable technology does not incur additional costs. You only need to construct the item once, but don't forget where your deployed technology is located. So when we leave here, we're going to want to take that with us. But right now, we need to inspect it. We need to fuel it first. So we need some sort of fuel, in this case carbon, which I have some. Put that in.
Technology recharge.
Now I need to actually input my ferrite dust. And here I can tell it to begin. We're just going to push that button. We're going to let it process. And now we're going to grab everything out of here. We're going to take that. Put it to my exosuit. Take that. By the way, the pick that up. Take it with us. Get back into the ship. Pure Dog says usually watch on YouTube, but here today for the drops. I appreciate you watching wherever you want, but obviously make sure you get your drops today, guys. Sully Shania says once this game really opens up and you realize how much there is to do, it's mind-blowing. Yeah, that's the question I was answering earlier. Like, someone was asking, like, in terms of the narrative, I think Chaos Meister was asking, like, is there a story? Yes, there is. About 100 hours-ish of just story. But beyond that, there are hundreds of hours of things to do because there's all the base building. And now that they've expanded things with Worlds Part 1 and Worlds Part 2, we can do underwater base building now and the submarines and everything else. And now with Voyagers dropping, we've now added ship building, multiplayer ship contracts. It's a whole, like, it's now added a third new level of things to do that go way beyond all the stuff that's been added over the past years, you know. So yeah, this is a game that is, I would look at this and say this is like any live service game you've ever played before. If you ever play a live service game, you'll be familiar with it. So like Lord of the Rings Online, Star Wars: The Old Republic, World of Warcraft. We're playing a lot of Dune Awakening recently. We're playing a lot of Enshrouded as well. All of these games offer the opportunity to play by yourself or with friends in a place where you could literally live in the world and spend hundreds of hours, if not thousands of hours, doing lots of cool shit. So it's kind of like this situation where you just have to figure out what worlds you want to like spend your free time in. Like, I love Dune, so I'm having a lot of fun in Dune Awakening. I also love Enshrouded. We've been getting back into Enshrouded recently. I like this game. I'm playing Lord of the Rings Online on Sunday nights with my brother and sister-in-law and their kids. I still have great... I don't play a lot of Star Wars: The Republic these days, but I'll dip in from time to time. But these games are meant to be played for hundreds of hours. You have to like the gameplay loop, though, to get that kind of enjoyment out of it. Because some games, like New World as an example, New World Eternum, I got my 100 hours out of it and I moved on. I had a great time with the storyline, but once I did the storyline, I was like, I don't really feel like I want to spend that kind of time in this world. Whereas I really enjoy the aesthetic of this game and the soundtrack. It's super chill, like once you get later into the game and like you can explore space and you can start doing star system to star system, and then you get into, like, you know, you get your frigate, which, by the way, the frigate is cool, but now that we're going to be able to build ships with this update, I don't know how that's going to work with the frigate, because it's like that's changing the way people play the game with the way you can build your own ship now, because now you don't need a frigate. But I mean, frigates do their own thing, so it's kind of like you kind of do still want your frigate, right? Because frigates offer the fleet, and the fleet is its own thing with like missions and all that other stuff. So it's like, that's, yeah, like Burlak, exactly. I've played this game so differently at different times in the past decade. decade, excuse me. Yeah, because there's so many things to do. You can literally log on and be like, this week I'm going to focus on building a base. This week I'm going to go do fleet missions. This week I'm going to go do deep water exploration. This week I'm going to do fishing. This week I'm going to do cooking. This week I'm going to build a new ship. This week I'm going to go find a living ship. This week I'm going to go get that solar ship I've been after. This week I'm going to blah. You know, I think what I really love about No Man's Sky is right, the fleet is what leads to things like the quest for the living ships. Yeah, exactly. So like Shania was saying, like, the thing I really love about this game is the freedom to do lots of different things. I think that's a very interesting aspect of this game. It's just having so many things to do. Many live service games do it that way, but I feel like some games are a little more limited in the way you can do things, if that makes sense. Like, as an example, I love World of Warcraft, but World of Warcraft is very, very, like, you're always going to be running quests on the ground. Maybe you're on your flying mount, but it's a very specific type of, like, that's what you're doing. Now, they are adding housing with Midnight, which is very interesting. That's going to allow another layer of things to be done. But for 20 years, World of Warcraft has been about, a specific type of questing, a specific type of raiding. But they did it like the pet battles at one point. Some people love the pet battles. There's mount collection. This game kind of does that similar thing where you've got ship collections, you got all your collections for base building. But the other thing that I think a lot of people forget about this game, and it's not mentioned, is the ability to, like, go into you could do creative mode. So, like, if you don't even, that's the other thing, is, like, maybe you're like my niece and you don't want to deal with combat or survival elements. You just want to play around and go fishing and build shit. Like, you can turn on the creative mode and have your own, have your own building session without any of the pressures of the other parts of the gameplay,
Component repaired. Technology repaired.
All right, we've done all those things. All systems functional. Seek answers among the stars is what the quest journal tells us to do. Hold RT to take off. Woo! All systems functional. All right, up and away we go. Gonna hit the B for booster. Get up through the Atmo. Welcome to the Landria system. Orbital flight achieved. It says test Starship systems. Test flight controls and thrust with the RT. Test boost with B. Hold LB and RB to test the pulse engine. Answer the incoming communication. So this is what I was talking about earlier about the story stuff. This is, it's not branching narrative. It's environmental breadcrumbs. We're up in space. Now we're getting a communication coming in. But, you are not alone. Follow the broadcast ends as strangely as it began. The final piece of the signal appears to be a set of planetary coordinates. We are being told to go somewhere.
Alert. Navigational data received.
Pilot towards the coordinate markers and engage the pulse drive. Another tip for new users, if this is the first time you've played, notice a couple of things on your screen right now. One is the scan button that you can use to scan items when you're on the ground. You can also do from space, and when you do that, watch what happens to the planet in front of us. It says unknown to planet, undiscovered. We're going to press the RS to scan. It now tells us that it's an unmapped planet, supercritical planet. It has salvageable scrap, gamma roots, copper, uranium, salt, etc. You're also going to notice around us, this is a great tip for new users. Around us, you're going to notice we're in an asteroid field. The game hasn't told us this yet, but it's actually a really good idea before we warp to the planet to take some time to blow up some of these. Oh, you know what? I don't know that we can yet. Yeah, we can. Because these give us, in that case, we got silver. I'm actually not looking for silver. We're looking for tritium. Tritium, gold. Tritium, that's what we're looking for, because tritium is the fuel that we use for our pulse engines. And you'll need that. Now, in some cases, you're going to get these items right here. These tritium hyperclusters, you can analyze those, and they're going to give you more tritium. That's used for fuel. So make sure to take some time as you see these. Was there a green super one? There was, wasn't there? I saw it a second ago and I kind of bypassed it because I was... Oh, there it is. It's over here. Alright. Now, second tip for new players. Once you're ready to go to the location and do the thing that it says to do, make sure you center your HUD element on top of that icon before you engage your pulse drive, because what that'll do is it'll like literally take you, assuming you've lined it up perfectly and you're not getting interrupted or anything, it's going to take you straight in. And then you can be just hands-free and it should take us all the way down until we're ready to initiate that landing sequence. Alright, Shiny, you're over on Twitch getting the drops. There you go. It does tell you pilot drive will autopilot to coordinate markers, but you have to have the coordinate markers centered in the HUD. Alright, it's beginning suborbital flight now. Tells us to approach the site and slow down with LT, and then land with X. Let's go ahead and slow it down. Slow it way down. Lands to begin the search. We're gonna hit X, land the ship. Now before we get out, Burlack said there was another update this morning. Was there? I didn't see another update before I started playing. I don't see any additional updates. Maybe it auto-updated for me. But someone's saying, anyone not got the update? I'm on Xbox. The update went live yesterday, so I patched up and installed last night, and we're good to go. Thanks for the sub over on Twitch, Around the Bend. Welcome aboard. All right. There are bugs outside. New planet discovered. Press the button to upload and rename the planet. Oh, hang on. Was I supposed to hold it? Oh, I see what it did. Okay, we're good. If you're getting a blank screen or a black screen and you're on the Xbox, please make sure you check your HDR settings. That has been known to provoke black screens or issues, so check your HDR settings in your Xbox configuration. What was the update this morning, guys? Anybody know? Someone says it was also a... I'm assuming it installed it overnight, or this morning, because I was playing Enshrouded, so it probably did an auto update. I'm just curious, I didn't check what it was. We are being told to find a signal source. Activate a target sweep with the analysis visor. Follow the directional indicators to pinpoint the signal source. So we're going to move. Oh, we're being told to go in that direction. Target aligned. That's what we're looking for. So we're going in this direction. Target aligned. Still aligned. Getting a faster beeping. It says we're within 123. Yes, we're getting close. Still aligned. Thanks for the gifted subs around the bend over on Twitch. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. Bunch of gifted sub to folks. Don't forget, if you are watching on YouTube right now and you're part of the multi-stream, we are streaming live on Twitch and YouTube, but the drops are only available through the Twitch. So if you want to watch it both places, you can. I will be streaming over the next few days while the Twitch campaigns are going live. Oh, I think that's what we're looking for right down there. There it goes. When you're getting a certain range, it'll finalize the signal and it'll show you where it's at. There it is. I will be streaming. I start usually every single morning about 4:30 a.m. Central. We were playing Enshrouded for the first couple of hours today before we switched over to No Man's Sky. We'll be back in tomorrow. On the 1st, I'll be starting Hell Is Us early access, Head Start access. But until the 1st, I'll be playing No Man's Sky for the morning sessions for sure. I'm also doing an afternoon session recently. Tonight we're going to be doing Enshrouded with Babylonia's crew. At least that's the plan, around 6 p.m. I'm trying to start getting back into a fall-winter schedule where I do 4 or 5 hours in the morning and 2 hours or so at night. So we've been doing some evening streams the past 4 or 5 nights. I did not last night, mostly because I had an upload happening. I was putting together some stuff. Stay tuned. Investigate the broken machinery. sparking wires of the machine generate a signal tapping out its broadcast into the void, but whoever left this message is long gone. So let's go ahead and decipher that signal. $16. Oh no. No fuel. Failed to reach station. Hazard protection low. No choice but to underground. Deployed base computer. As well as the log entry, the signal contains plans for a base computer and a terrain manipulator. So for the new players, this is what's teaching you how to survive the planets at this point. We've learned now the starter planet. It taught us a little bit about how to harvest, how to analyze, how to repair items on the ship, how to repair items in your inventory, and how to fuel the ship and take the ship and land it and all those other things. Now we're being guided towards how to build a base, which is where we're going to be putting all of our crafting stations, which is where we're going to be having NPCs come. So this is, again, we're doing a fresh start character so I can refamiliarize myself with the controls, but also to get up to date with the people who are asking over on TikTok and Instagram, hey, what's the new user experience like in 2025? Here you go. The base computer might hold more information about whoever's leaving these messages for us. Alright, we just learned how to build a base computer. And a terrain manipulator. This will be another great moment for me to... just a quick tip for new users. You're not locked into... Like, obviously you're being taught how to build things, but don't think that if you don't like the planet, because it's all random. You might get sent to an ice planet, you might get sent to a sun planet. In this case, it sent us to a radiation planet. You might get sent to a paradise planet. On my very first playthrough, I got extremely lucky, and they sent me to a paradise planet for my very first place. And so I was able to build a base in a pristine environment with no environmental hazards. It was glorious. I had people hounding me left and right. What's your base coordinates? What's your planet coordinates? And I did not share those planet coordinates for a long time. Because I was like, I want to keep my planet pristine. And then I opened it up to the community so that people could come build bases on it. But if for some reason you don't like the planet that you first get sent to, you can just follow the steps to figure out how to do all the things. And then once you're comfortable with the base building and everything else, you can take your ship, go off into space, and go look for a place that you want to call home.
Technology recharge. Technology recharge.
Alright, I'm going to make my way back to the ship. And we should probably start analyzing stuff along the way.
Units received. Units received. Units received. Units received. Units received.
One thing I don't remember how to do. Ah, that's what it is. That's the zoom function.
Units received.
Always use your ship as a base of operation. When you see scraps like this, grab this rusted metal, because this can be convert it into other things like ferrite dust. And when you open these, they'll sometimes have components inside. Like I just got an ion battery, which will be useful for later. That is some sort of a dangerous plant. Shiny says I just subbed. Oh, nice. Thanks, Shiny. Shiny also gifted some subs over on Twitch. Thank you very much for that. And subbed to avoid the ads. Yes, that's a nice thing about Twitch. Thank you that. Thanks for the gifted subs, Shiny. I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Okay. I mean, I don't really like this location for a base, to be honest with you. I don't like this planet, but it's all good. Let's see if I can't find something a little more. Well, let's not get sidetracked. I think you might be mistaken what I was talking about, Garlic. It's not about getting your panties in a twist over Paradise Planets. It's about the new player experience, and some players find environmental hazards to be overly challenging. So it's about allowing players to find the place that they are going to be the most comfortable building on. Not everyone wants to deal with freezing blizzards and sunstorms and, you know, the poison rain and radiation damage. That could be overwhelming for new players. Like my 7-year-old niece, she's not going to want to deal with all those things. So it's not about having your panties in a twist over a Paradise Planet. It's about players finding the types of planets that they are the most comfortable building on so that they can have the most fun out of the game. And that is one of the benefits of this game, is that there are millions of planets to go out there and explore until you can find the one that gives you the perfect place that you feel comfortable building in. Alright, the game is telling me to select the terrain manipulator mission in the log. So let's go to the log and find the terrain manipulation quest. We're going to track that. Exactly, Shiny. It's about having a nice chill zone where you want to build your base and where you feel the most comfortable. Because if you're going to get the most out of this game and spend hundreds of hours playing, it's going to be somewhere where you like. Like for me, I like ice planets. And I really love the underwater planets now that Worlds Part 2 is in the game and we have the amazing submarine and like the aquatics, the Aquarius expedition was freaking amazing. Like I had so much fun with that. Oh, you're talking about when I was getting harassed to give planet coordinates last playthrough? Yeah, that one was a little... Understanding the context of what you were talking about, that makes more sense. Correct. That part of it was, yes, it's like there are so many Paradise Planets out there. I remember when I first posted that video, it got like 30,000 views, I think, within the first week or so, because I was like, I found a Paradise Planet, you know, and like everyone was like, oh my god, share the... All these people in the chat were like, share the coordinates, and then people were getting pissed that I wasn't sharing the coordinates, and it's like, all it takes is 10 minutes, 15 minutes of exploring, and you'll find a Paradise Planet. Like, it's not that hard to find Paradise Planets. Just point yourself towards the star system and go. So thank you for providing additional context for your comment so that I understood better what you were talking about. The Terrain Manipulator is a multi-tool upgrade which allows the mining of valuable ores directly from Earth. What they mean by this, for a little better context for those of you who might be coming over from other games, or there are going to be ore deposits, And the terrain manipulator allows you to mine those ore deposits. So, get back in my ship here really quick because I can not waste my radiation protection. Open the inventory and install the terrain multiplayer manipulator. Say that 5 times fast. On your multi-tool slot. So we're gonna go to our multi-tool. We're gonna go over here and we're gonna pick terrain manipulator to install.
Technology installed.
Now it's gonna tell me that I want. It's gonna tell me that I need a couple of things. It's gonna tell me that I need hydrogen jelly, which we've already been told how to create. And we were also being told that I need to make nanotubes, also which I have been already told how to create. Thanks, Cass, gifting more subs over on Twitch. Appreciate that. So we can go back to the exosuit directly if we wanted to. And create dehydrogen jelly. Then we can install that. And now we need 2 carbon nanotubes. I cannot make those because I don't have enough carbon, so I need to go create. I need 100 pieces of carbon to be able to do this. Before I go to the next step, let me go see if there's any more coffee. I'll be right back. I know. The expedition has not started yet, as far as I'm aware. Although, the shipbuilding and everything else that is part of the Voyagers update, all the Voyager update stuff has gone live. Just not the expedition yet. Alright. I need carbon. I just sat down. I don't have any issues with HDR stuff. I'm playing on my Series X right now. I'm literally streaming from the Series X. Here, Oh, I'm literally on my Series X, not having any issues whatsoever. So, Into the Water says I grab all the carbon, sodium, oxygen, and ferrite dust I see as I'm exploring. You pretty much always need some. I mean, that's a great newbie tip for sure. What's up, Rich Six? You're on the. Someone said something about being on the PS4 and not seeing the update. I can't speak to PS4. Like, PS5 players and Xbox Series X players appear to be good to go. So, you know, don't know. I have no idea. Are they even updating the PS5 client? I don't know that the updates that they're pushing are going to be for the PS4. I don't know. Alright. I need carbon. Let me check my emails before we jump out of my ship, guys, because I'm waiting on that, and I need to find my phone. Hang on. I don't know if I brought my phone in here, because I'm waiting on a phone call. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, that was gonna say I don't know about PS4. I would be surprised if they're still supporting PS4 updates because the PS4 system doesn't have all of the graphics, and they've been constantly pushing the graphics of this game forward. And at some point, I don't know if that's already happened, but that's traditionally a lot of games no longer support the PS4. Okay. Hey, we got a hype chest over on Twitch. We got the Shy Ghost emote. That's cool. We're just doing, as the description of the stream suggests, we are not actually playing the Expedition right now because the Expedition is not live. If you read the description text of the chat of the stream itself, it says fresh start character. Why are we doing a fresh start character? Well, as we've explained multiple times since we started about an hour and a half ago, I haven't played the game since the Aquarius update and need to refamiliarize myself with the controls. And second of all, we had a bunch of people on Instagram and TikTok who were asking, what is the new player experience like in 2025? Should I get involved? Should I play the game? What's it like? We are therefore showing it off, working our way through the early new player experience, and then once I get familiar with the controls again, we're going to hop over onto my main character and check out the ship building and everything else. But the expedition is not live. Voyagers update is live, however, so the ship building is in the game up on the space station. I actually went and checked it out last night. I'm sure there are streamers. I was watching Tangent last night as an example. He was showing off the ship building. Alright, I need carbon. Give me some trees. You heading out? Yep. 1 hora media, 2 horas. Cuando regreses, vamos al doctor. Ok. Voy por organizar una cita. Ok. Tranquila. ¿Dejaste esta puerta abierta? Mejor. Con todo cerrada. Ok. Ok, gracias. Alright, carbon.
Radiation protection falling. Units received.
There's some critters over there. Oh, there it is.
Units received.
Alright. No hay ningún gato afuera, entonces. Ok. Sí. ¿Todo está cerrado? Sí. Ok. Gracias. Está bien. Está bien. Gracias. Links to the update are in yesterday's post, everybody. I would highly suggest you check it out if you want to know information about the update, including the schedule for all the things that are coming down the pipeline, including the expedition. Best source of information is Hello Games. Make sure to tune into their social media channels and etc. This ought to be enough carbon, to be honest with you. Probably overkill, but I need it for some other things too, so I guess it is a fuel source. Correct, I have not played since the Aquarius update, which was a year ago. So I remember some of the basic controls, but I don't remember like what are all the steps to do all the things. And they've added a bunch of stuff since the last time I played, which was a year ago. So it's better to just start from scratch, play for a few hours, remember how to play the game, and then go jump into one of your old saves. And in my case, because I can put these videos out on YouTube later on as new player experience guides for 2025, it's 2 birds with 1 stone. I'll get a bunch of TikTok and Instagram shorts out of it. I've already got 2 clipped videos from people asking questions. It's always a good thing. Like, there's never a bad reason, never a wrong reason to start a new character. Alright, I need 2 nanotubes. Let's go ahead and tell it to build me 2. back over to the multi-tool. We're going to select the terrain manipulator. We're going to install the nanotubes. That should complete the quest. It now wants us to gather copper. So I need to activate the terrain manipulator. What it's wanting me to do right now, for the people who are watching this as new players, is it's asking me to analyze to find mineral deposits. In this case, it wants us to gather copper. You're going to be using this process for a lot of different types of minerals later on. So in this case, we're looking for copper, and because it's automatically it's going to track mineral deposits right now, which are these blue triangles. That one is a uranium deposit, which we don't need, and that's going to tell us to go in this direction to find a different one. There's a uranium one. So the ones that have the arrows on our little mini map here, those are the copper ones. It's telling us where to find the copper ones. The reason it's telling us to find the copper ones is because the quest is automatically tracking copper. As you get deeper into the game, you will have to manually tell it to track specific nodes when you open up your analyzer, but you need to, this is a greater explanation of that system. They don't necessarily explain the manual tracking of things later on to you. So in this case, there's a copper deposit 700 meters in that direction. There's one 600 meters in that direction, 200 meters in that direction, 1,000, 400. The 200 meter one is the closest. So we're going to hover over that. It says hold X to tag. We're going to do that, which is going to lock it in. I'm too close to my ship. Hang on. There we go. This will lock it in so that it always stays up on my HUD, and then we're going to move in that direction to find that copper deposit. Ooh, what are those? Something way up there. Alright, and that graph right there is showing us what that copper deposit looks like. It doesn't necessarily mean the copper deposit goes that deep, it's just sort of showing us a representation of that. So as we get over here, we have now located the deposit. It wants us to equip the terrain manipulator now, which is... Okay, we now have our, you'll notice on the top right, terrain manipulator. If we hit the Y button, it'll switch to mining beam. The mining beam is what we were using before to gather things. We don't want the mining beam, so just to understand what's going on here. So we'll mine that. We're going to switch it to the terrain manipulator, which is what we've done. Now, here's where there's another little tip. I haven't done this in a while. I got to remember how to do this. You'll notice on the, when you go to mine something with RT, it's gonna mine at a certain radius. I got to remember how to change the size of it. This is the part I don't remember. Ah, there it is. Okay, so the bumpers. Look at the radius. The circle is what we're looking at. So that's the biggest circle, and if you were to mine that right now, it would mine the biggest the biggest radius possible, but the least amount of ore possible. So what you actually want to do is you want to reduce that down in size to the small version. If you do that, it's just going to grab the whole thing and you might not necessarily get as much out of it. So you always should go slow and go for the smallest amount, unless they've changed this. If they have changed this and I'm giving bad information, somebody let me know. I haven't played in about a year. But you'll want to make sure that you have your actual mining manipulation tool down to the smallest possible to get the most amount of resources out of something. And from there, it's just like the mining laser. And you're just going to sit here and you're going to clean up this shiny copper stuff. Notice along the way you might actually eat into the terrain a little bit and get silicate powder. Don't worry about that. You're actually going to use silicate powder later on. You'll use it to power your tools, so don't be afraid to sit here and get all sorts of juicy stuff. Ooh, that's actually leading down into a tunnel, it looks like, maybe. Oh shit, it is! That's cool and totally random. Lots of really cool, fun stuff to uncover underground. However, I need to recharge my shields.
Technology recharge.
Also need to recharge my terrain manipulator. And this is where if you scroll over to recharge your terrain manipulator is this mining tool, don't use ferrite. Notice on the far right it says silicate powder. That's the dirt we're mining from around. You can use that to power the very same tool that you're manipulating the terrain with. So go ahead and refuel your mining tool with that silicate powder and get right back to it. That's what I was saying about don't be afraid to mine around the copper a little bit, because that silicate powder is used to power tools. By the way, when you are doing this for the first time as a new player and the quest tells you to come find your first copper node, don't just mine what it tells you to mine. Get the whole node, because trust me, you're going to need a lot of copper. Alright, now it wants us to deploy the refiner. We're not going to do that here. We got to go back to our ship. So we got to pull this up again and find our ship icon. Work our way back to the ship. We don't actually want to deploy the refiner way out here in the field. We want to get back to our home ship, just in case there's a storm that comes through. You never know. There hasn't been a storm yet, so we might not have storms on this planet. I didn't check when we landed. Yes, the amount of content in this game is nuts. Absolutely. Thanks for the sub over on Twitch, Sprenrog. Appreciate it. Yeah, the caves are pretty awesome, because you'll find the stuff that you need from the caves later on. Now remember, we built the refiner earlier, so I don't actually have to spend any resources to make it again. I could just literally place it down. So we could take that. Select it. And find an appropriate place to set it. Probably not close to that dangerous plant. We're going to... this is an interesting tip. It's telling us on the side. Well, it went away. It said, you know how you use the nitrous to refuel your suit? It was actually giving us a quick tip that you can refine a more powerful version of it at the refiner to give you longer charges and stuff in your suits. So that was a nice little tip that just kind of went away really quick. So again, we have to fuel this up first. I'm going to go ahead and just fuel it with the regular carbon. And this time I'm going to hit the X button, which is quick charge, which is just going to maximum fill this like that. We're going to go over here. We need to do chromatic metal, so we have to put copper in here. And we're also going to do the same thing. We're going to find our copper, and we're going to hit X to quick fill And then we're going to go over here to begin, and we're just going to tell it to produce all of it. Unless they have changed things, chromatic metal is one of the it's one of the metals that you're going to need the most of throughout all of these various crafting sessions. So copper is a huge building block for like the early dozens of hours of the game. Eventually you'll need all the minerals, and as you get deep into the game and you branch out into other solar systems and universe types, galaxy types, that will change. But in the early hours of the game, like I would argue the first few dozen, copper is a huge building block because it creates chromatic metal, which is used for all sorts of stuff. So if at all possible, try to put your first base in a copper-rich environment, because you're going to need lots of it. Generally speaking, I think it leads you to copper-rich planets in the tutorial, but just in case. Or we're going to take that, we're going to quick transfer it to my exosuit. We're going to leave the refiner in place because I'm going to need it for other things, but really quick, it did tell us that we could put some nitrous or whatever in it, so let's... I think it's sodium, yeah? Yeah, let's process, I don't need all of it. Well, let's just tell it to begin, and then I'll stop it after I've produced a few. We'll just do 10. Alright, so now when we go to refuel our suit, we go up to hazard protection. We could also choose sodium nitrate, which we have refined, as opposed to just using sodium. There's also an ion battery, which we're not going to use. Alright. We need to build a base computer, so it says access the build menu. This is a portable, so this is a land claim. If you've ever played a crafting survival game before, this is how you do land claims in pretty much all other games. That's what your base computer is doing here, is it's doing a land claim.
Radiation protection falling.
So it's in an invalid position is what it's telling us, so we would have to tell it, you know, it doesn't really matter where we put it because we can manipulate the terrain. But generally speaking, for your first base, you should probably put it somewhere flat, which makes it easier to build things. So let's bring it down here. Yeah, this looks like it'll work. No prior claims on this site. We're gonna claim the base. It's gonna claim that section of land. We're gonna go run up here really quick and grab that refiner and bring it down the hill. We're also going to move our ship down. Yeah, this is a nice place. We're on flat ground. We got plenty of carbon, ferrite dust, the D crystals. What are these called? The dehydrogen crystals. We got plenty of goodies right next by. Ooh, there's even a Wisdom of the Korvax. Click it, since we're here. Narogo! Nudie, nudie, nudie! The stone resonates, producing a sound that fills my mind with a vision that begins to take shape. A robotic life form turns towards me. Light streams from their metal shell, forming a glowing fog that surrounds us both. They gesture towards me, and I accept the knowledge that this stone is trying to give me. The name Korvax floats in my vision, an echo of the... They repeated vision twice. That feels weird. A word in the alien tongue is seared into my brain, so I have just learned the Korvac word for Korvax. Those are language stones. So you'll find them as you're out exploring. Yes, Trickifer. Actually, that is a really good...
Radiation protection falling.
Let me get in my ship so that I'm not losing radiation protection. And I'll answer that question. That is a really good question that I can put into a YouTube video, so hang on. So Trickifer over on Twitch said, think I'm going to get back into this. Haven't played in quite a while. What's the difference between starting fresh and the expeditions? Are they separate modes? Yes and no. So, technically, yes. What you have is you have save files. So you can have different characters, and each character has a save file. So when you're playing a game on a save file, you have a unique universe that's spawned for that character, and it has its own journey. And when you play that character, when a new expedition comes around, for those who aren't familiar with what expeditions are kind of like adventures or DLCs that Hello Games will periodically put into the game. And these expeditions are limited window events. They're usually around for, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, 6 to 8 weeks, sometimes 12 weeks. They're around for a couple of months. And during these events, you get to earn unique rewards. There's a unique storyline associated with each one of those expeditions. For example, I have played through a couple of them. Most recently, I played through the Aquarius expedition, which happened last September of 2024. That was at the launch of the World's Part 2 update when they added the underwater, the new underwater biomes, the new submersible. They had added fishing, and so that was all about underwater exploration in a submarine. And so the expeditions are designed to be standalone adventures that are limited time events. They will occasionally cycle back around and repeat older expeditions once a year, usually around the holidays. But to go back to the original question, when you have a character like I have right here, this is a fresh start character, or if you have an older character like I have, every time there's an expedition, you have the option to start a brand new character, which is a brand new save file, which starts fresh in that expedition, or you can take your existing character and sort of port them into the expedition, run the expedition, and then when you're done with the expedition, you can take the items out that you got from that expedition and bring them back to your main save. So it really is up to you. The way that I prefer to do things is I very much like to play each expedition as its own standalone adventure. And because I play a lot of games. If you're someone who mains, this will probably be a better way to explain this. If you're someone who mains this game and plays every single week, and you've got hundreds of hours every single month, then it's probably going to be the way that you play is you're probably going to take your main character and you're going to take that character and do the expeditions with that character so that you can earn the rewards from the expeditions on that character. However, I don't main this game. I play many different games, and I dip in and out of No Man's Sky the same way that I dip in and out of Lord of the Rings Online, Star Wars: New Republic, Dune Awakening, Enshrouded, etc. So for me, the way that I like to do it is I like to create a brand new character every single time there's an expedition. and I start from scratch. The expeditions are usually around 10 to 15 hours of gameplay, usually speaking. So it's a very easy way for me to have a quick No Man's Sky adventure in between playing lots of other games. So it's like, you know, I'm playing, like, here's an example. Like, right now, I just finished Gears of War Reloaded. I start Hell Is Us on the 1st. Then on the 4th, I have the Indiana Jones The Great Circle DLC. And then I have Chronos The New Dawn. Then I have Dune Awakening on the 10th. I have Borderlands 4 on the 12th. Somewhere in September, I am going to do the new expedition for No Man's Sky. Where I do that, I don't know yet, but I know from previous expeditions that it's going to be a 10 to 15 hour little boop. And so I can just sort of figure that that's 3 to 4 days of streams, because I stream for about 4 or 5 hours every time I stream. So I know that I can get 4 or 5 days of No Man's Sky out of an expedition. Now, I haven't played in about a year, so that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm refamiliarizing myself with the controls, checking out the new content that just went live with update 6.0, which is the Voyagers update. And then the new expedition is going to drop like next week, and it's going to run for a couple of months. So as soon as I can find time to squeeze in the expedition in between all the other games that I'm playing, I will hop on and do that expedition over, you know, a few days of streams. So for me, the way I always do it is I treat the expeditions like a standalone game. It's like, oh cool, No Man's Sky just dropped a new DLC. Let's go play that DLC for 15 hours. And it's like a little bit of, you know, it's a little blurb. It's like playing a 15, like Gears of War Reloaded was an 8-hour experience. It's kind of like that. You know, Aliens Fireteam Elite, that was 8 hours of gameplay. So it's kind of like doing that. It's like a little short mini adventure into the worlds of No Man's Sky. And the expeditions always have their own unique storyline and their own unique rewards. So, well, this goes into another question, Trickifer, as well. If you have already played the game and you are already sort of familiar with the base controls, it's always a good idea just treat the expeditions as a standalone, would be my take. If you're a new player, however, I would not recommend starting with an expedition. Don't. If you're a new player coming to No Man's Sky for the first time, do not jump into an expedition. Play this first. Come do the new player experience. Learn how to build a base. Learn how to upgrade your ship. Learn the controls of the game. Learn about the space station. Learn about expanding your inventory modules. Learn about the modules themselves, the difference between the A grade and the S grade, B, C, and D, and all that stuff. Learn about the anomaly, how that all works. Like, play the first 20 to 25 hours of the game first. Then go play an expedition. What are the expedition rewards like? Asks Ridge 6. They're different. Every expedition is different. This expedition, you're going to be... it's a multiplayer experience. It's designed to be more rewarding as a multiplayer experience. You're going to be getting you're going to be building, one of the things from this expedition is they are going to be walking you through the steps of building your own Corvette. So it's going to be, you're going to get a Corvette out of it. You're going to get you're going to build a ship through the expedition is what it's going to do. Different, usually you'll get some sort of like a multi-tool or really cool exosuit upgrades. The last expedition that I played was Aquarius. We got a really cool submarine. There's almost always some sort of skins, a new exosuit skin, decorations for your base, decorations for your ship. I think I got a bobblehead for my ship, which adds some like stat bonuses one time. So it's just different for every expedition. And they do multiple expeditions, like 2 or 3 expeditions every year. So yeah, oh, and that's the other thing too, like Garlic said, every expedition, if you start from scratch, it's a randomized character, a randomized ship, and a randomized multi-tool. So it's kind of like you're always doing something slightly different when you go do an expedition. It's like a slightly different flavor of what you're already used to. No, you cannot replay old expeditions on your own, but they do bring old expeditions around from time to time. Usually around the holidays is when they have old expedition comes. And yes, earned rewards from the expeditions are can be used across all of your saves, so you can always go back and pull things out and use them. Anyway, that's a basic explanation of expeditions or fresh starts. If you're a veteran, I would say that, you know, you could go in with your veteran character. But if you're fresh start person, don't jump into an expedition to start. Do something else. Hopefully that is a pretty easy explanation for folks. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Daily streams on YouTube and Twitch. This is the day job. I play a lot of games. We start at 4:30 a.m. every single day, Central Time. We go for 4 or 5 hours in the morning. And then I've been easing back into my winter schedule right now, which is evening streams at around 6 p.m., 5 or 6 p.m. Central Time. We're going to be playing Enshrouded tonight with Babylonia's crew. And like I said, we start Hell on Us on the 1st. Alright, Base Computer Online. We need to search the archives. Storms. Construction supplies low. Let's extract those plans. Alright, so we just learned our first base building pieces. Aha! We have now been told that we need to build a base. Bases are shelter from harsh environments. We earn base expansions by learning blueprints, and we can also build storage chests and processing stations at our base. So if you've ever played a survival crafting game before, this is where you're going to be very familiar with this, whether it's Minecraft, Dune, Once Human, V Rising, Valheim. Build a base, shelter you from the environment, refine your shit at the base. But we need some more goodies first. What do we need for floor panels? Carbon. Well, let's go just harvest a bunch of stuff right now. Start a derelict freighter. Oh, that's a good one. So you notice how it won't let me harvest that one? It says advanced mining laser required. You'll learn about that later. Alright, honestly, I should have enough carbon from all those other things. Timber floor panel. Ah, here we go. This is something I wish all games would have, which is a build camera. Please give us build cameras to let us see. So if you want to have a better view of what you're building, you can come out here and use your build camera. It's still not perfect, but it does give you a bird's eye view of things. But we're going to do this in first person because I don't really care. Relatively flat something. Snapping should be on by default or not. Yeah, snap. There it goes.
Weather warning. Incoming storm.
So see how it says radioactive supercell
Base
approaching?
computer online.
Yeah, we're gonna say fuck that, and we're gonna go hide in our. Look at it. It's coming in. That'll eat us alive, so we're gonna go hide in our shit. And we'll wait for the. So watch the radiation go up. So remember how on the very first starting planet we were watching the temperature plummet when the blizzard rolled through? In this case, we're on a radiation planet. Right, there's the answer if I'm on a storm planet. I am definitely on a storm planet. Poppin says I still have a settlement on the planet you founded a year ago, Ren. Nice. I haven't been back. That might be something fun to do, is on the main save go back to that planet and see what people have, because at one point we were visiting all the bases during the live streams. Well, we're gonna just hunker down and wait for that storm to pass. Yeah, tornadoes are deadly. Tornadoes? Tornadoes. Well, this is a perfect chance for me to check my emails really quick. Yeah, the underwater stuff is super amazing. If you get a chance, for those of you who have spare time later on, go over to YouTube and after the stream, and you can check out. I've got a playlist specifically set apart for the Aquarius expedition, which was September of 2024.
Weather update. Storm clearing.
And you can check out the whole Aquarius update. It was amazing. That was a really cool expedition that we ran. Like I said, it was like 10 or 12 hours. You get a new submersible. Really cool underwater environments, and that whole expedition was all about underwater exploration. That's probably one of the main saves I'm going to go back to at some point, because I loved the submersible that I got, and it's really cool to fly around and explore underwater. All right. We've built the terrain floor pieces. Now it wants us to update the base computer again. Additional archives recovered. Whoever recorded these logs evidently had some success. I have access to their plans, and perhaps I can learn from their efforts. So that taught me how to build a construction research unit.
Radiation protection falling.
This is about expanding your base by digging up buried tech to earn new blueprints, and powering your base to enable advanced technology, as well as using teleporters to instantly return to your base during your travels. However, before we do any of that, we're going to go ahead and flesh out the rest of our base right now. We only have access to the timber stuff at the moment. So we need to put a door. Actually, hold up. How do I... There we go. I don't remember if we want to... Does it matter which way is... I can't remember if there's an... I'm so used to Dune Awakening from the past few months that I know there's an interior and exterior. I think this looks exactly the same no matter what. It's just which way do you want the sliding thing? Now that one definitely has an outside, so we'll do that right there. Do I have windows yet? No, I don't. Oh! Did not mean to place that there. Delete. Alright. Now we want to build the roof. Let's do rounded roof. Hang on, we just got a milestone, which is kind of important.
Radiation protection. Stabilizing.
Okay, we've just gone a certain distance, which is good. Hang on. This is where I might need to switch the build camera. There we go. There we go. Alright. We now officially have our first base built. Very basic structure. But this is a shielded structure
Radiation protection. Falling.
where we can now come in here and have a place to be shielded from the environment. Most importantly, remember that portable refiner we built earlier? We're going to place that inside the base so that we can have it protected from the elements. Oops, wrong one. Hang on! There we go. So now when I need to refine things, I can put them there. Alright. Now, if we go to the log, it wants us to do this next. It wants me to build a construction research unit. It says create magnetized ferrite in a refiner. So it wants me to place ferrite dust in a portable refiner, which we have here. We gotta refuel this. I have to go get some more carbon. We're running full low on carbon. Ferrite dust. We have 66 ferrite dust. Put that in here. We're gonna run it. Coltrane says, just ordered a shirt from your store. Thank you, Coltrane. Which one'd you get? New campaigns are coming out every week. We just launched the I Play Games in Story Mode campaign. And which one am I launching tomorrow? I gotta check my list. Guess we got a whole bunch. We got campaigns coming out the rest of the year with new stuff. I gotta check which one is next on the list. Hang on a second. I think it was the I think it was Click Me Harder, Bro. Is the next one. One of these. I gotta figure out where we're at on the list. Oh, I think we're gonna do Troll Tears Fuel My Retirement. I think that's the one we're gonna do next. Troll Tears Fuel My Retirement is the next shirt, and then when we get back into Dune Awakening on the 10th, we're gonna be launching the T6 Alpha Male T-shirt. For those of you who play Dune Awakening, you'll know what we're talking about when we say T6 Alpha Male. You got one of the I Play games on story mode? Nice. T-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs. We do lots of coffee mugs at my house. Also some water bottles and some other stuff. I'll probably launch some more stuff, but people have been asking me for a merch store for like 2 years, and I was always like, I'm too lazy to do it. And then Fourth Wall reached out to me last year, and I totally blew them off because I wasn't ready to do it. But they're the same company who does Co-Carnage's store. And they reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to do a merch shop with us? And I didn't answer. And then about 2 months ago, when I decided I was going to do a merch shop, I reached back out to them. I was like, hey, I know I'm a year late on answering this email, but are you guys still doing campaigns with content creators? And they got back to me really quick and said, yes, we are. Let's go. And so that's why I went with them. People who are super fast on communication are always... If you get back to me within 24 hours to an email, chef's kiss. All right, next part is to put the pure ferrite that we just refined to make magnetized ferrite. So this is a chain of, we took dust to make pure, and now we're taking pure to make magnetized. I gotta find it first. There it is. Creative mode? Yeah, I think it's called creative mode, I think. Alright, I now need to craft a carbon nanotube. However, I don't know how much carbon I still have. I at least have 50. We need to build the construction research unit. We're gonna put that... Is snapping on? Put it right here by the door. And now we're going to interact with the unit. Now it's telling us we need to recover salvage data from buried tech. And this allows us to research buildable technology and structures. This is very important for the base building side of the game. So this is where it shows you that there are things that you can build. So this is researchable tech. There's core habitation tech, timber structures. So, you know, it gave us some basic timber structures out of the gate. You can unlock additional ones, but you need this currency right here, this orange. That's the currency that you have to spend to unlock additional modules. And that's what it's teaching us about right now. So this is the tech you can unlock. So there's different... you can build with timber, you can build with stone, you can build with alloy. Then there's these different things that you can build with. So it's telling us to explore the planet and locate buried technology, which you could then use to spend to unlock additional parts. So if we go out here and hit our analysis visor, right now we're looking for analysis mode. It tells us to cycle the multi-tool modes with the Y button. Target sweep mode. We're actually here. What we're looking for here is things to analyze. Hang on, I gotta go back into it.
Radiation protection falling.
There's a salvage container, curious deposit, knowledge stone, which is that thing right there. Salvage container. Buried tech module. That's what we're looking for right there. That's 200 meters away. Again, we're going to hold to tag it. That way it's always on our menu. Now, when we get over here, we have to go back to the terrain manipulator. Remember how earlier I told you that you want to keep it on a small... When you're mining things and you want the resources, you want to keep it on the smallest node. Well, when you're blowing through terrain and you're trying to get something that's buried underground, I would suggest using the biggest bubble, so that way you can blow big holes in the ground until you find that thing right there. And that's what we're looking for, is that little thingy right there. Now I actually got to get to the point where I can access it. Shouldn't it be giving me an X thing to... It's acting like it won't let me pick it up. It won't let me touch it. It's bugged! Anyway, technically we're supposed to be able to open that. But we're not able to do anything with it at the moment, so that one might be bugged out. Boo! We can find more. Oh, there's one right over there. Creative mode is great for just exploring builds and stuff. Also, when you do when you do creative mode, you know how I was just showing like the modules cost technology points to unlock? When you're in creative mode, it doesn't cost anything. You can just unlock everything for free because you're in creative mode. So I'm playing in normal mode right now, so... Oh, that's somewhere down in here. Now see, this one, that's what it's supposed to see. You're supposed to see the technology module have an interactable... For some reason, that one wasn't letting us... interact with it. Probably just a bad angle. So I now have a piece of salvageable data which I can take back here.
Incoming storm.
Perfect time, since we have a home built, to duck back into our home. Because there's a storm coming.
Radiation protection stabilizing.
And we can go ahead and spin to the point here to learn new construction blueprints. Users should recover, blah, blah, blah. We did that. Structures? Nah. What about... Ooh. Salvage? Dude, they didn't have salvage the last time I played. Exactly that, Barticus. The updates are crazy, especially if you leave it alone for a few months, which is what I do. I come back every 6 months or so. Because every time you come back, it's like this completely different game with all these new features. So you're learning all these new things. Like this is an example. I don't remember salvage. This is a new type of building set, which I love the look of. I want this. I want all of it. It uses Atalantidium. I don't even know what that is. Thanks, Mags, for the sub over on Twitch. I want to unlock the tech module. And I have 2 salvage data, so let's unlock it. It's a personal teleport device allowing the user to move quickly between their constructed bases as well as any space station terminuses connected to the network. User is urged to verify network integrity before inserting any matter they cannot afford to become separated from. Oh, your base can be renamed. Let's do that really quick. Do, 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 do. Alright, so in order to build the base teleport module, I need to gather ferrite dust. But I think there's a supercell going on right now. Oh, you know one of the things I can do? Remember that rusted metal I got earlier, guys?
Storm clearing.
So for new players, this is when you can go down and find that rusted metal. This will refine into ferrite dust. So, I think we're 9 years in to No Man's Sky, almost 10. DSM says original launch was in 2016. Yeah, that's exactly what I did last time, Garlic. I did all the main quests. And it was 80. I have an 85-hour gameplay save. It was like 100 hours of streaming because I also did a bunch of base building. I have a whole base building episode. It was like 20. I think that was 2024. Thanks for the sub over on Twitch, Hearth23. Oh, there's been a lot of changes, Gray, for sure, Stoic. Alright. I need 4 metal plates. What's up, Roscoe? Alright, I need a little bit more carbon to make the nanotubes. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. Sounded cool. I don't do that, Roscoe, so I can't answer that question. Yeah, when people ask me like, what's better, Starfield or this? No. There's no such thing as better. There's just different. I love Starfield. I love No Man's Sky. I love Cyberpunk 2077. I love Red Dead Redemption 2. I love Quest for Glory. I love Dragon Age Origins. I love Mass Effect. I love Dragon Age. I love video games in general. So Starfield is a completely different experience to this. Completely different. Starfield is a narrative RPG, a Bethesda-style RPG that has some shared elements with No Man's Sky as far as like base building and shipbuilding goes, but it's not even remotely close to the same experience. It's a completely different gameplay. Different type of ship combat, there's narrative RPG stuff, there's relationships and romances with companions, there's RPG skill trees, there's just, it's not even remotely the same type of experience.
Radiation protection stabilizing.
I need 2 nanotubes. Alright, construct a base teleport module. I think I want to put this outside if I remember correctly. Okay, now it's going to teach me about powering the base and all the things we need to build to power different things. So first up, it wants to teach us about a biofuel reactor, which we need to unlock at the construction research unit, but we probably don't have enough points to purchase it, which means we probably got to go out and find more of those. Yeah, I don't have any of the salvage data. Would No Man's Sky be classified as a sandbox survival? If you're playing it on default mode, I would call this a sandbox survival mode. However, the game also has a slew of different difficulty presets to choose from. Normal, which I'm on right now. I think it's not, I have to click this whole thing over. Creative, relaxed, survival. They have all, and then you can adjust all of these settings how you see fit. So do you want to play like the normal survival element? Sure. Do you want to have enhanced survival stuff turned on, which is even more crazy and micromanaging asinine? Then you can turn that on too. Do you want to go 100% creative and have no survival elements and just build shit like you're a 5-year-old kid? You can do that. There are all of these ways to customize your difficulty. So technically, yes, the default experience is like a sandbox survival, but there's like like someone said, granular control over how that sandbox plays. So thanks for the resub over on Twitch, Firewater. Appreciate it. And then there's cool stuff like, I think it's in the difficulty. Like, I remember the fishing, somewhere down in here in the ease of use. Fishing timing. Like, I turned the auto catch on, because screw that. I don't like the fishing minigame, right? I don't like the fishing minigame of needing to time the cast and the pull, and I just turn the auto catch on. Auto catch is the coolest feature ever when you're fishing, because it's just like throw the line in and let it do its thing. Yeah, we talked about it earlier, Son Fisher. PS4 probably isn't going to get the updates. I don't think they are updating the PS4 client anymore. You need to check with No Man's Sky and Hello Games to confirm that, but I don't think they're updating the PS4 client. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure the PS4 client is, or maybe it takes longer. I don't know. I don't know. All right. Well, we need more research thingies to unlock. So let's see if I can go back over to that one and see if I can find it again. It was bugged out, but I wonder if I can unbug it. Yeah, it's like I can't get to the side of it. Yeah, I think that one's just bugged out. Alright, let's go find a different one. Oh, is that one? Are salvage containers the same thing? I don't remember, because those are gold and these ones are white. I don't think they're the same thing. No, because those are buried tech modules. I'm not seeing any close to me. So you know what we could probably do? We're going to need copper anyway. Max Frail says the PS4 should still be getting the update. The update page on the website still lists it as a platform you can buy the game on. Well, that's the answer then. It's probably just going to be behind the Xbox and PS5 updates. There's one right there. Oh, that's 1,000 meters away, really? That one's 300 meters away. That's closer. When in doubt, move in a direction for 100 meters, more stuff will pop up. More than likely, I would need to complete the tutorial. Okay. Back to the base. Milestone. That's why I'm not doing it for this, Rags. This is literally me doing the new player experience, refamiliarize myself with the controls. For the shipbuilding stuff, when I'm ready to check that out, I'm going to switch over to my main save. I have a character who has billions of credits, and he's up on the space station. So I will be checking that out probably tomorrow. Let's see here. We want to buy the biofuel thing. We want to do buildable tech. The default is survival mode already, but you can turn on additional survival options to make it even harder for yourself if you want to. Yes, the new player experience is exceptionally good. If you want to see the new player experience in action, you can rewatch this entire VOD once it's finished up, or you can wait until after the stream. I will be cutting this particular video down into a new player experience series on YouTube that will air in 30-minute episodes across the roughly 3 hours that we've been playing. Alright, we need the biofuel reactor. We need to build a metal plate to make that thing happen. So we'll build that first. Oh, I need ferrite dust, which I'm going to have to go harvest. says use the build menu to use the biofuel reactor. Place that down. Can't do it because we need metal plating. So we have to actually go get some ferrite dust.
Radiation protection falling.
Yeah, I'm not going to go build them myself right now. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to wait for the expedition is what I'm choosing to do. Like, I do want to go check out the tutorial, so if you guys hang out for a little bit, we're going to meander over to my main character here in a little bit so that I can check it out, because I would like to see whatever tutorial is up available, but I doubt I'm going to spend the time to build a ship. I'm probably going to wait for the expedition and do it from there. Alright, so we're building a reactor, which is necessary to fuel certain components. But now we need to learn electrical wiring. This one is free. It tells us in the tutorial, researching electrical wiring is free. We got to go back to the buildable technology section of the construction research unit. It tells us to go into the buildable technology and look for wiring. This one doesn't cost anything. We have now learned wiring. This allows us to then go to the biofuel mass, biofuel reactor. We're going to create a power grid. So we're going to select electrical wiring from the build menu. We're going to connect it right here. And then we're going to pull this wire over here and connect it to the teleporter. Now it's not going to do anything yet because we don't have any fuel in the biofuel reactor. So we're going to put some fuel in that reactor. In this case, we'll put some condensed carbon. It now has 100% charge.
Radiation protection falling.
Grid status is overloaded. Never seen that one before. Grid power storage, no batteries. Is the grid something they've added new? Because it used to be you just connected it straight to the teleporter. And now it shows a grid, which I've never seen before. Oh, there it goes. It just took a minute. It was needing to update. Okay. So that's fuel for 50 hours, is essentially. Now later on, for those of you who are going to be playing this beyond the new player experience, you'll be able to get things like solar power generators and there are lots of other means to fuel your base and all of your structures. But you start off with this, which requires some sort of carbon or oxygen to run. So you'll need to keep an eye on that if you want to power your structures. I don't know why I can't use this at the moment. Because it's acting like it's not on, but I am wired to it. So I may have to figure that one out later. Grid power usage, grid power. Oh, no batteries. I don't have any batteries maybe yet. Maybe that's the reason. It hasn't prompted me. Okay, additional archives recovered. Oh, unusual broadcast, repeating that same number we heard earlier, number 16 from the space station. Seems there's nothing more I can learn from the base computer. My predecessor appears to have left the base and headed to the space station. Yeah, I probably just need to reconnect it. I'm going to do that here in a second. Because I don't remember having to have batteries or anything. Maybe I do. It shows batteries here. Highly efficient storage. Connect to a power grid and onboard permanent will automatically draw down spare capacity charged cells. I'm not sure about that. I'm going to try to reconnect this before I do anything. How do I... There it goes. I just had to reconnect it. Now I've got 2 leads. How do I unconnect a lead? It's something I don't remember how to do. Edit placed parts. I bet that's it right there. No, that's... Target part, electrical wire, delete. Haha! There we go. So I deleted the original wire, and now it's working. So now the teleporter is working. That's an important step before we do what we're supposed to do now, because it's telling us to go investigate the space station. Now we kind of want our teleporter working before we go to the space station, so that we can quickly come back to the base from the space station using the teleporter. So make sure that your teleporter is functioning, new players, before you leave on your ship. Now, how do we get off? Not enough fuel. Well, if you remember what we have to do to refuel, we have to put something into the launch. We need to find or construct launch fuel. How do we do launch fuel? We have to craft some stuff. So first I need to make some metal plating. I don't know if I have enough ferrite dust to make a metal plate. I do not. Okay, we're gonna make a metal plate.
Radiation protection falling.
Now I need some more dehydrogen, which are these blue crystals that I can find all over the place. Okay. And we can analyze that. Craft Starship launch fuel. Then we go back to our ship. And now we refuel launch thrusters with that launch fuel.
Technology recharge.
Now we can launch the ship. Now remember, you want to head up to space, break atmo. Now it tells us to find the space station, and we have a waypoint if you look up at the top right of our screen. A waypoint right over there to get to the space station. So remember, you want to center this in your screen, engage that pulse drive, and away we go. Now, once you arrive at a space station, you might not necessarily be on the side that the entry is on. So you're going to want to move around until you see an entry port. Every space station is going to look different. But you're looking for something that looks like this. Get close, it's going to suck you in automatically. That music. there's our ship. Welcome to the space station. Now, this is where the real journey begins. Because from here, you realize that there are millions of planets to explore, galaxies aplenty, and a whole lot to do. There's just, it's a massive game. But this is the perfect place for me to say, hey, this was a 3-hour adventure as a new player experience into No Man's Sky in 2025, now that they have included the Worlds Part 1, Worlds Part 2, completely different experience these days, and they just added Voyagers, which just went live, and that includes back around the corner, if I'm not mistaken, is where the shipbuilding takes place. And we now have the ability to come here to this starship fabricator, and we can build our own ships as a result of the new update that just went live. Now, I don't know anything about this. I don't know where the tutorial is to start this. So if you bear with me, we're going to switch over to my main character now, but I do want to timestamp this because this is going to get clipped out and turned into a short little YouTube series of about 6 episodes. There's a new one on the other side of the ship. Hang on. Other side of the station that I need to go find, apparently. Well, hang on before I log over to my other character. Well, we'll figure it out. I'm gonna go. We're gonna log on to the main character really quick and check that out. It's on the left side towards the hangar entry. Oh, this over here? Oh, okay. Corvette Workshop. This is what I was referring to, not the other one. I'm going to be doing this. We're going to move over to the main account. But for those of you watching this YouTube series on YouTube in its individual portions for the new player experience, hopefully you will continue to explore No Man's Sky in your own time, at your own pace. It's a big game. There have been a lot of updates over the years. There's a lot to do in this game. It's easily hundreds of hours to thousands of hours of entertainment. If you enjoyed what you saw here today, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. I start my days every single day at 4:30 a.m. Central on YouTube and Twitch. We multi-stream every day. I play a shitload of games. This is the day job, so hopefully you'll check all the other things out. And don't forget all the socials: Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Twitter X, the Patreon page, the Discord, the Homestead channel if you want to watch my wife and I run around with chickens and ducks and cats and all that stuff. But I'm going to switch over to the main character now and timestamp this out. Someone said there's supposed to be a tutorial for this. I'm assuming it's automatic when I click on this. Oh wow, we have a whole new... Wow. Design and assemble a Corvette starship. Hang on, let's back out of this really quick. Leave workshop. This will probably be what I do tomorrow. What I'm very curious about this though is purchase modules, purchase basic modules. Yeah, I have 164 million units, so I should be able to afford all of this stuff. So okay, there's also advanced modules. I don't know what all this is. So, do I automatically have access to all of these things? It doesn't act like it's wanting me to purchase them. Like when you select a part, it doesn't actually show that I need to purchase that. A wing module available to build unlimited. Cool. Alright, well at least I know where this is. So, here's the plan. Oh, I'm in creative mode, that's why. So I automatically have access to all of them, otherwise they cost. I forgot I was in creative mode. Hold that thought. I forgot that this character is in creative mode. Thank you for that. Good to know, just so that I can see here. Okay, so it changed the tutorial. Acquire modules to design and assemble a Corvette starship. Basic Corvette modules are available in a Corvette workshop. You'll need to purchase things, so you'll start with a third. Okay, so we're gonna do this tomorrow, everybody, because I'm already at the limit of my morning stream sessions. We're 6 hours in. That's enough for the morning. I've got to go cut a bunch of videos out and get ready because I got to go see my physical therapist today for the first time in like 3 months. And then, theoretically, depending on storms and other stuff, we're supposed to be back with an Enshrouded stream at about 6 p.m. tonight, Central Time. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, tomorrow morning, bright and early, we'll be starting with No Man's Sky. Drops are going on, so I'll be continuing into drops. Before we go, we're going to raid somebody really quick on Twitch because Lady Atara sent me a list of people, and I'm going to go see who's live from that list of people she gave me, and we're going to go raid them, and I'm going to go watch them because I want to earn my Twitch drops. So let me look at the list of people and see who might be live, so that we can all continue to support other people on Twitch. Let me look behind the scenes here. I don't think any of those people are live that Atara sent me to. So let's go see who's got drops on, and I'm just going to pick somebody really quick. Tangent is on? Tangent's pretty big. Let me pick a small streamer really quick. I was watching Tangent yesterday. Yeah, we can watch Tangent. Where's Tangent? How do I find him? All right, raid's happening, guys. I'll catch you tonight for the Intrepid stream. Tomorrow morning for more No Man's Sky.